You know, I had everything ready up until about 2 minutes before the show, and realized that nothing was set up the way that it was supposed to be. But that seems to be the way it always is over here at the Foltz Bailey Model Railroad. I see chat is going crazy. You guys have been in here. Let's see. I started watching maybe about 20 minutes beforehand, and yeah, chat. You guys have been talking up a storm over there, which is pretty awesome. Everybody just kind of saying hello to everyone. That's what it seems like. Nothing in particular to pick out just yet, except Thomas says it's 8 o'clock, time for the show, and that it is. In case you guys are new to the show, my name is Rick Bailey, and this is the Foltz Bailey Model Railroad. It is Sunday night. It is 8 o'clock, and that means it's Sidetrack Sunday time. Sidetrack Sunday is a show that was created a couple years ago by a group of fellas who are just as nutty as I am. We're on YouTube every Sunday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Daylight Savings Time. It's 8 p.m. over here in the U.S. If you look down in the description of this video, you will find a link to all of these Sidetrack Sunday guys. No matter what day it is, no matter what time it is, we haven't missed a show yet as far as I know. So definitely check us out. Keep us in mind every Sunday at 8 o'clock. Hey, you guys remember Logo? Logo's hanging out over there, having fun. So what are we going to do tonight? Tonight I am, if you remember on Friday night, we kicked in we started to look at a new kit. And that kit is called, it's another Foscale Models kit. This here is Nate's batteries for cars, trucks, and boats. Kind of looks like that. Again, you guys know how I roll. I don't always necessarily always follow the instructions, and I don't always keep the name of the building the same. J2 jumped in there and said, we have never missed a week. That is awesome. Awesome. I do know that we've had some special guests on when we weren't available, which was great because there's always a lot of you out in the community to rely on. And speaking of the community, let's jump over and look at the participants list and just find out exactly who is here. The list is long. I think I saw JD in the house. JD, if you wouldn't mind throwing me some numbers. I think if I did see them, I missed them. If not, I don't have that screen up where I always know those numbers. But here we go. Top of the list, we've got Al Marr in the house. Welcome, Al. Oz America, that is Artie, who was traveling the other night, heading back to Australia. So safe travels. Hope you're there. Hope you're home and nice and warm. Dave from DB Tech 7914 is in the house. D&RGW. Not sure that I've seen that one before. Say hello. Let everybody know your name and maybe where you're from. We'll get acclimated with the community. Hello to you. Dundas Junction Model Railroad. That's James up in the Great White North. Of course, I'm here. Grandpa Rails with a bunch of letters at the end of his name that I haven't seen before. Welcome in, my friend. Hot Dog Pilot. Andy is here. Thank you for stopping by, Andy. Curly Express is here. That is Dwight. Dwight, welcome. Kyle Stevens is in the house. Greg from Midsummer Railway N Scale is also here. And the Model Train Outsider is in the house. Welcome, Opa Dodge. Nathan DeLay is here with us. Bob from PK&W Model Works is also here. Thank you, Bob, for stopping in. Possum Bayou is here. Thank you for stopping in. Ray Bertelson is in the house. Ray Boebel is here as another Sidetrack Sunday guy. Santa Fe Bob is here with us. Of course, John 2 or J2 from the Schuykill River Valley is here. Stormy Sky Rail Productions, welcome. Haven't seen you in a long time here. You and I seem to always contact back and forth through comments, so it's good to see you here. And then, of course, Thomas Grassi Jr. is in the house. Welcome. I did see the list was popping a little bit, so I'm just going to go up here and see if there's anyone that I missed. Happy Valley Hobbies just popped in. Thank you, Brian, for stopping in. I appreciate it. Anybody else? Rail Artist jumped in there on me. Welcome in, Mike. Hope all is well with you. I actually went back and looked at some of your old videos when you had made the move, and the last one that you've got posted up there is the shot of the lake, and I was loving those when you were doing them. Really hope you do some more. It's very, very tranquil, very soothing for the mind. But it's good. It was good to see you last. I think it was Friday or last week. I can't remember. These days all seem to blend together. One more pass up here, and I think I've gotten everybody that's in here. Again, if your name is not up here on the list, it's because you have not said hello in chat. So type something in chat. Let everybody know that you're here. Let everybody know who you are. And then this way we can get everybody in the community talking. We had some newcomers on the show on Friday. And I meant to get their channels and put them in the list in my description for this evening, but I didn't get a chance. But I will try and do that after the show. So I will try and do that for all of my shows going forward. If I see someone who's new, I will definitely shout you out in the comments below. I think that's everybody up there. So if you notice something weird that I just noticed on Friday, but there's a couple of guys that are in bluish color. It used to be like a purplish color, but it's a blue color now. These guys have like a little shield next to them. It used to be a wrench, and I think I like the wrench better than the shield. But these guys in blue, they're my moderators for the channel. So they are here to keep me on track, which almost never happens, and to keep you guys in line in chat. So just want to say shout out, thank you to the moderators for helping out as much as you guys do. Always appreciate your support. I'm going to jump over to the STS schedule for the month of February. If you notice, Ray did the first week. That was last week. I am here doing the second week and so honored to be here to help out. Next week is going to be Brian. That's February 15th. And then following up at the end of the month is going to be Bob. So make sure you mark your calendars for those channels. Again, those links to their channels are all in the description of this video. So check them all out. We are, as I said, this week or tonight, we're going to take a look at this kit. Taking it apart confused me a little bit. Hey, I just saw Toyman jumped in, and then there's Ken Amos. Hello, fellas. Thank you for stopping in. This kit confused me a little bit, but I did wind up getting it together and figuring out all of the parts. I was driving myself crazy. I actually had to label everything, which I've never had to do before. So before we jump over there, let's take a quick hello, take a moment to say hi to the lady of the hour. As always, coming up at the beginning of the show, here comes Rita. All right, saw a couple people jump in, just wanted to say hello because I think it missed it on the bottom there while Rita was doing her little shimmy. Chuck Schreiber, I saw you in there earlier today, and now you're back up onto the list. Deep Run Mike jumped in there on the list. Hello to you too, sir. Appreciate it. Let's jump over to the side cam here and see if we can get this show started on the row. I thought you were going to say lady of the evening. Well, she is the lady of the evening for me. She always has been. So she's my delight. If you guys don't know the story of Rita, it's funny. I'll try and do it as quick as possible. I was doing a Sidetrack Sunday show. This was years ago, and it was on decals. And I got these set of decals, and there was this one decal that was a graffitied woman, and it was a slightly heavy-set woman. And I looked at this woman, and I immediately, when I saw this woman, I thought to myself, that's got to be that. She's got to be Rita. Like, her name has to be Rita. And that's where the story of Rita began. Everyone at that point, it was like a crowd pleaser thing. You guys were the ones who enforced Rita. Jokes started coming all over the place. Do you have Rita's mom's number? No, but I got Stacy's mom's number. So yeah, you guys started making jokes of Rita, and Rita became a thing. And then after that, I started looking into. I was working on my channel, and I was looking for an intro, and I found that intro, which you guys just saw, which I have used for many, many years now on all of my live streams. And this woman was there on the thing, and all you had to do was go into this app and upload your logo, and it put the logo on the shirt. I don't know that woman, have no idea who she is. I don't know if her name is Rita, but she became the intro, and then someone had made a comment and asked if that was Rita, and it stuck from then on out. Model train aficionado Chris. Okay, yeah, all jumbled up there. Hey, Chris, how are you? Welcome to the show, bud. Thank you for stopping in. I've got Jenny's number. I got Jenny's number too, Ray. Jeff Sykes, welcome to the show, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for stopping in. All right, so as I mentioned, this is Nate's Batteries. It is a Foscale model kit. If you don't know Foscale models, definitely check out their website. They are well known in the community for wooden kits and models for the model railroad. John Train BFGR, welcome, my friend. So let me get you down here to the workbench, because I got a couple things that I need to explain so I don't confuse you guys. Ray Central 127, welcome to the show. Thank you so much. I want to stop for a second, and I really just want to say thank you to everybody for stopping here. I know tonight's a big night in the sports world, something about a big bowl that's going on. I know very little about, but it was in the back of my mind that this could affect the show and how many people we have. But it seems like you guys are coming in full force tonight, and I very much appreciate you guys showing up and hanging out with me, knowing what is going on in the world, because that whole thing is so much bigger than me. Just finished the Foscale's pile driver kit. Interesting. I don't know that I know that one, so I'll have to check that out. I haven't. Thank you, Ray. That's actually a very good number. I'm pleased to see that. Thank you so much, guys. Rick, is it the World Cup? I don't know. It's a cup. It's a bowl. It's. I heard it was great or awesome or could even be super. I'm not sure. Just my opinion, but I'd rather watch your live stream, Rick, than watch a Super Bowl, because it's not my thing. Nathan, thank you so much. Not my thing either. I couldn't tell you a thing about it. Sunday nights or Sundays in my house during normal football season for me is filled with Hot Wheels and Barbie dolls. So that's all I can tell you. All right, let's get down to. I don't want to rattle too much. Where is that button? Okay. Why am I off the screen? I got to get me back here. Where am I at? Hide face. Hey, there we go. Jumping on in the side. All right. We're also zoomed in, so let's zoom out. I think I was doing something the other day and left my settings all the same. Hit the thumbs up. It's free. Yes, absolutely. We love the thumbs ups. So here's what I did. I took apart some of the things. This is one of the, I don't know what you want to call this. I'll call it a sprue, I guess. Some of the parts came in here, and that's what I have cut out. There were a total of 1, 2, 3, and 4 parts. What I've seen in this kit, which I haven't seen in the other Foscale model kits that I've done, is they're actually using this as a base. I haven't seen Foscale models to use bases before. I'm sure they have. I've never seen one that I've done. So this is a first for me. So this is the base for the actual model. So this is going to be a shed, which I've glued on there. This here is going to be a shed. And then there's one more piece that's right here that's going to go right about there, and that's where the door opening is going to be for the model. So that would be the front wall, and that thing's going to be like a little step. So I'm not going to glue that on just yet because I don't know exactly where it's going to be, and I would rather it be relatively in the right place than not. What's the status of your live stream efforts? Yeah, let us know. We want to know, Chris. The world is asking questions. So I did take apart, this was the main sprue that had all of the building pieces on it. For some reason, unlike other kits, it was really, really difficult to get these out. The space between the parts and the sprue, it was really, really tight for some reason. And listen, normally I'm okay with tight spaces. But for some reason, I couldn't even get a knife blade, a X-Acto 11 knife blade down in there. I had to switch to using a flat blade and kind of poking at the little protrusions that kept the stuff on there. And I usually don't have to do that. So it was a little difficult, but I got all the sides sanded down and I got all of the pieces braced with the proper bracing. And then this is another part that threw me off. I saw this and here, let me start with this. I'm looking at the instructions and what I'm seeing here is 4 walls. But then I started counting all of the wooden pieces. I know that's a wall, that's a wall, that's a wall. And then these here are part of the one shed, and this here is one part of the other shed. And I'm thinking I'm missing a piece. And I was looking at this and realized that this is a roof, this is a roof, that's a roof. And I believe that's a part of an awning that goes over top of the door. So now I'm thinking, oh crap, I told everybody I was going to start this kit and I'm missing a whole wall. And then I saw this thing and I'm like, that can't be a wall. Why would they give you a piece that's just an MDF piece? Like why create 4 walls and then give you a piece of MDF? It just didn't seem quite right. I still don't understand why they did that. Because if you look at the picture, it's the wall that you don't see. So it's that back wall around the corner there. And I should have pulled up to see if there were any other pictures from the Foscale website, but I didn't think of doing that. But yeah, it was really weird. And then I thought, well, how am I supposed to, what am I supposed to do with this blank wall? I mean, they give you window treatments and the stuff, but I'm like, oh no, Rick's doing math. Yeah. 1 cookie, 2 cookie, 3 cookie. So then I went back to looking at this, thinking this was going to give me some sort of answer. And that's when it popped in my head. This sign is the exact size of that wall. And that's what's supposed to go on there. Or at least that's my guess, because I still never looked at the pictures. So I set that aside and I started moving on and I was doing some bracing. And I had realized at the time that this piece was smaller than the rest of the pieces of the wall. And I read the instructions and found out that the piece that came out of here is supposed to go up here. And I got to thinking to myself, why would you have an MDF piece sitting on top of just a regular wooden piece? Didn't make any sense. So I thought, let me go back to the page again, find out what's going on. And then that's when I realized that sign, which is right here, is what goes there. So 2 signs to cover up the MDF. Am I happy with that? I don't know. But I have no choice but to roll with it. So if I do choose to keep this, the easiest thing would be to keep this as Nate's batteries because I already have both signs for the building. But if I do intend at some point to change the name of the building or its purpose, I am going to need to create 2 signs for the building. These are the uprights for the sign that goes on the roof. You can see them right there. That being said, now, so I got all of the bracing done. 51 looks like you've made it through the winter. What's next for the layout? Oh, that's for Ken Amos. Yes, Ken, let us know what is next for the layout. Everybody's still talking about football. Finish this dad blasted house to sell. Oh, nice. Got the layout. Yep. Yeah. I am also waiting for a house to sell. Back to the model for a moment. So I started sitting here thinking about colors, and it seems like Foscale model uses a lot of white, dingy white, dirty white. There's a lot of weathering going on there, and I'm kind of tired of the white. We had this issue before where last week we were trying to do the colors. We figured out the colors for the other building, which I still think turned out great. But I think this time what I want to do is I just want to go with a wooden building. And hear me out. I think what I'm going to do is black trim. The sides of the building will have black trim, and that's these thin pieces here that just go, on the sides. I think I'm just going to paint those black. And then I think what I want to do tonight is a mixture between the Hunter line burnt umber and the raw umber. And I think I'm going to wind up, I might use this as is, but I think I'm going to try and dull this down. And my thought is this one is darker than that one. So I think I'm going to use the lighter one at the top. And then at the bottom, just maybe like, I don't know, 3 or 4 rows from the bottom is where I'm going to use the raw umber. And I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to try and do, to get some of the, I'll show you when we do it. Another thing, I originally was going to go with, you guys know that I just dropped something. I don't know what it was. Paint. You guys know a while back, I had made my own stain, and I did this by in this jar taking a I can't remember the number, but the thinnest, smallest steel wool that you can find. I think it's like a 0.00001 or something like that. You put it in here and you put in some vinegar and you let it sit overnight. And what the vinegar does is it breaks down the steel and basically creates a rust mixture in the jar. And that mixture can be used to have an aging effect on wood. Now, I remember when I first made this, when I used to shake it up, it used to turn this color. And you guys can't see it, but it is like a reddish color. And after letting it sit for a while, it would settle. And you would notice that it would be all clear vinegar. And then down here at the bottom, there would be a brown layer of all that rust. For some odd reason, it sat for like a little over a year. And then just recently, when I was moving and packing up my old workbench, it got a little jostled up and it turned this red color, and it has not changed back since. And the weird thing is, I tried to use it this afternoon to test it out for this purpose. And here's what I found. All I did was test it on this corner. You can see how this corner from here down is a different color. The only thing that it really did was it shaded some of the areas dark. It didn't really do much. And it's been about an hour since I actually did this. I did it just before the show. It is completely dry. It's not saturated with anything at all. So you actually put that stuff on your wood. Yes, I do put that stuff on the wood. Directly on the wood as if it was stain. And what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to turn the wood like a grayish, blackish color. It makes it look like old barn wood. But it doesn't seem to have that effect anymore. And I'm wondering if there was some chemical reaction that happened over time that no longer allows it to have that effect. Maybe I just need to make a new batch. I'm not 100% sure. If anyone knows that answer, I'd be curious to know. So I'm not going to use that. And that's what has me going with the Hunterline stuff. Really, really wish that I had, and I think I'm going to have to try to look for a gray stain, because I do like the gray old barnwood look. That went over his head. No, it didn't go over my head. Not either one. I got you. Let's get in here. Let's do some staining and see how far we can get. I'm not going to do anything with the door stuff yet because I don't want to stain that. I don't think the stain takes very well to this cardboard thin stuff, so I have to figure that out. Possibly, maybe I'll just paint all this stuff black to match the trim that's on the side. That's the only thing that I can think of. Still the second swing. So let's get the staining and see what we come up with. All right, I'm gonna go with the lighter one first. We'll bring in our little jar. It eventually mixed with vinegar and thinned it out, maybe. Well, that's the thing. So DB Tech says it mixed with the vinegar. It's all vinegar. That's what I'm kind of curious about. It's all vinegar. It was not diluted in any way. So you literally just put the, not an SOS pad. I keep thinking SOS pad, but not an SOS pad. We don't want any soap involved in this. It's just the steel wool, and you got to get the thinnest one possible. Otherwise, you're not going to get the same reaction, or at least not in a short amount of time. You put that in the jar and then just fill the jar like 3/4 of the way, just to cover up that steel wool. You can later on, after you scoop out or drain out or sift out or whatever's left of the SOS pad. See, there it is. The steel wool. You do have to eventually drain that out because you don't want those things in there. I use Best Stains. Yes, I am looking to invest in Best Stains, but it's not in the budget right now for me to do that. And the space around here is very, very limited. So I don't have enough room for those. But yes, eventually that's what I would like to get because their selection is out of this world. So yeah, once you put the vinegar in, you let it sit overnight, you'll see in the morning that it breaks down very well. And then if you wanted to, you can dilute that with water just to stretch it out a little bit. And I think I may have done that. And like I said, it used to separate. It used to go clear and then a little tiny bit of brown at the bottom. But now it's not doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this this sheet here, and I don't need that. I just want to test this stain really quickly. I didn't see what you said above. What did you say above? Tuna dog. Tuna dog. CP368 Productions, welcome in, my friend. Thank you for stopping in. The tree, I was busy. I couldn't make it before now. Hey, I'm not worried about it. You're here. That's all that matters. What I'm going to do is soak up some of this stain. You can see it goes right into the brush. And this is full strength. And I'm not sure if I want this thing full strength, so I'm just going to do a little bit over here. And I'm not sure that that's as dark as I want it to be. I think I want to go a little bit thinner on that, a little bit lighter, because the other one at full strength is going to be almost black. And we've been through this before. This is the test that we did before. So I think what I'm going to do is just grab a little bit of water here, and I'm going to dilute that a little bit, mix it on up. And then we're going to try this again. See if we get any different color. Yeah. I kind of like that. It's just a lighter tan. So I'm a kind of a fan on that. That's what I'm trying to. Oh, that's response. It's white. So I think I'm going to go with what I just mixed, and I think I'm going to do the whole thing, and then come back at the end and do the raw umber on the very bottom. So let's get that in there real quick. See how far we can get without screwing this up completely. Hey, if worse comes to worse, and this thing winds up not looking right, I can always go back and paint it. I'm trying to not go too heavily on the stain, because we all know if you put too much liquid on these wood pieces, they just warp like crazy. Does the room smell like pickles? It does not smell like pickles, but I kid you not, it does smell like salt and vinegar chips. And every time I open the bottle, it makes me hungry for a snack. It's very, very, it does have its own definite aroma. The beauty of wood kits, can't get this on other materials. Can't get what? A wood stain on other materials? Is that what you mean, Bob? Yeah, stains, I guess, yeah, definitely don't work on plastic pieces. The one thing that I do always watch for is when you're doing a stain, different pieces of wood, depending on where they're cut from, always react in different ways. So staining one piece may turn out to be completely different than another piece that you've already stained. So trying to keep consistency of what you're actually brushing and what's coming out on the board could be two totally different things. Personally, I use watercolors in tubes for staining when necessary, but then I am a watercolor artist. That's actually not a bad idea. Because I guess that would work out perfect. I got to look into that. Thank you, Mike. And I'm betting it's probably cheaper too. You are the real artist after all. I can imagine all of these stains that, are out in our industry can be a bit expensive when building a collection. The watercolors probably has to be a cheaper option. I'm trying to do my best to stay away from that line because I don't want this stain to bleed into that MDF at all. I mean, it's going to probably get covered up anyway, but I don't want the MDF to explode and expand. And we know that will happen. So I'm going to leave that like that. Call that done. One last piece. Got to be careful with this one because I don't want this to bend at all. These ones with the door openings are always so easy to break. And then you got to do a repair job. And for anyone that's ever done a wood kit, you all know the repair jobs are hard. I was going to say horrendous, but I think we all pretty much make it work. I do like that. There was a little bit of something going on right there. Not sure what that is. Someone, I can't remember who it was. Someone had asked me a question about the camera and zooming in OBS. I can't remember who that was. It was totally, it wasn't during a live stream. It was either in someone else's stream or was it one of the STS guys? I wish there was a way that I could show you how I have it set up. But if you can imagine, for those that know OBS, you have a set, what's the word? Program size for your image. What is the model of your overhead camera? This camera, that camera, and the camera that's over there on my right are all Logitech 920s. They are all plugged into a different place on my computer. So for example, I believe this camera is plugged into the front USB. This camera is plugged into the back USB. And then the side camera over there is actually plugged into a separate USB card that I inserted into the computer. This way, all three cameras are on a different bus line, and they don't get confused by names or serial numbers or any device description. That's what allows them so that I can use them all at the same time without having any issues at all. Normally, if you plug these type of webcams into a computer at the same time, they will get confused, or at least OBS confuses them, and you can't use one over the other. A 920 has a zoom and a focus. Inside of the properties of the camera, there is a slight digital zoom feature. It's a digital zoom. You're actually gonna get the same results as what I'm about to explain to you. I think, there you go. Possum Bayou says he thinks it might have been Jerry. You could be right. So here's what I do. In OBS on the screen, you have I can't remember the name for it, but there's a certain area where you're allowed to place stuff on the screen within a resolution of 1920 by 1080. They're just pixel numbers. Don't pay attention to them. What you can do with any object, and we'll call it an object because you could do it with anything. You could do it with a camera input. You could do it with a picture. You could do it with, if you're displaying a web page. You can take that image or that object and you can stretch that out of the bounds of the box. And by doing so, it gives it the illusion of zooming in. So if I zoom out, quote, zoom out on this image, this is the standard 1920 by 1080 image that comes off of this camera. So what I'm basically telling OBS to do is stretch that image out, which gives it an illusion of zooming in on the workbench. And what you will notice is things are a little fuzzy. You lose a lot of that resolution. It doesn't become as clear. So I hope that helps someone. Rick does have the live stream tech nailed. I wish I did. I learned, I'm going to give credit here. I learned a lot from YouTube, and I learned a lot from Heath. When Heath was starting his show and he was testing everything to make his stream better, I learned a lot from him. He got me into the OBS and showed me a lot of how it functions. I have a couple things that are different than he does. He actually has a Stream Deck device where he can program those buttons to manipulate OBS. His is a physical device. Mine is software. I use a piece of software called Deck Hopper. It is over here to the left of me on a screen that is a touch screen. So I was able to build buttons with functions, and I can simply tap those buttons, and that's what changes my screen. That's what changes my view, puts me back to any camera that I want to, and can even drop me down here. Now, this shot is using two separate cameras, this one and this one at the same time. And I can tell OBS to hide myself and bring myself back in. I also have the option of, you look behind me, it looks like my face is just on the screen. That's because back there's a green screen, and I can turn that on and off. That's also what shows you what was my old workbench, my old workspace. When I'm up here, that's just a picture behind me. Same green screen, just a picture. So I wanted to show that to you. I know it's a little bit of off topic, but OBS is making it look like a zoom. Yes, interesting. Yes, and I can manipulate that and go in, as far as I want to, but depending on the resolution of the camera, again, it's going to get more fuzzier. So yeah, it's strictly an illusion. All right, back to the model, because I think I've taken up 10 minutes just explaining that, but I wanted to make sure that I did for someone, in case anyone was interested. All right. So you notice I just took that stain and just dumped it back in the bottle, and I know what you're all thinking, Rick, that was diluted down. I know. And that's why I have it. I'm going to start marking. I should have start marking. The more that I use this, the more it's going to get diluted. In all of the models that I have built, I think I'm still maintaining, you can kind of see where the liquid is. And I believe that's exactly where it came from. Real Wild Man, welcome in, buddy. Thank you so much for stopping in. I think I'm maintaining that line. So every time I use it, the little that I do use, that diluted amount that I put in there is maintaining the line in the bottle. Eventually, I'm going to have to test this and find out if it comes out exactly like this, the way I like it to, then I'm going to stop diluting it at that point and just using it straight out of the bottle. Yes, I got sidetracked on Sidetrack Sunday, but it was all YouTube tech related, so I'm hoping it just helps. You're pulling the curtain back. It's all smoke and mirrors. That's true. That is true. I'm showing you everything behind the scenes. Let me. The magic is gone. Is the stain dry by now? It should be. If not 100% dry, it's at least soaked in enough that I can't feel it. I mean, it doesn't feel wet to me. You could always, and I don't have any warping. Oh, actually I do on that one. I got a little bit of warping there. You can see, on the door. I should have put a piece there. but it didn't call for one, and I didn't think I would need it, but that's okay. We can get by on that. The rest of this was all braced and no warping at all on any of these other pieces. So I did a good job. I think I did a good job. Yeah, even that one with the one piece, no warping. All right, so I am going to, given the hot air in the room dry now. Yeah, there's a lot of hot air coming out of this guy. Rick's always been warped. Yeah, yes, I have. Yes, I have. Unfortunately, the STS guys got the brunt of most of that. Just going to do a little bit there. And again, I'm going to grab that test piece. Actually, I think I've got more pieces. Yeah, I got another piece here that I can use. Oh, I got more trim pieces. Yeah, we could use that. I always save all of these pieces, even when you're done. Like these things here that we built in the past, I keep all those little broken pieces just for these purposes that you might need to test a piece of wood or reinforce something. You never know. Can you hook another camera on your phone through StreamYard and use it? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you can do it within StreamYard. Yes, but there is also an application that you can load onto your phone that will link into OBS, and just using it as another camera, you can hook a camera into OBS to show you what's going from the camera and use it as a mobile device. So you can see my setup here. There's camera 1, there's camera 2, there's camera 3, and this is how I use OBS to do all of my stuff. So this is OBS. That is the panel that I use to push buttons to make OBS do things, including showing you this picture. So that app is loaded on my phone, and that allows me to use it as a mobile camera. I'm hoping the audio was hooked up to that. I'm not sure there was. It does flip to a different scene. What are those shields? Did they replace the wrench? You know, Ray, it shocked me too. And yes, I think those shields did replace the wrench. Those guys with those shields in purple, those are the moderators. So yeah, you need the paid version of StreamYard for multiple cameras. I didn't know that. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. Dan, I didn't forget you, buddy. Listen, here is the gluing mat. This is a silicone mat that I got at the dollar store. It is very, very thin, very, very flexible. I'm going to put it on top of this stuff, but it would sit flat, flush on your thing, and then you can use these and glue stuff on there. And even if the glue dries, it peels right off, and then you can just get your glue. If there was any excess glue, comes right off of your model, no worries. So this way you're not gluing to the surface of your mat. But yeah, this thing was awesome. I did catch Dan's live stream on Friday. Definitely check Dan out. He usually streams after me, or sometimes we're going at the same time. And we had discussed this. The only thing that you have to watch with this thing, I made the mistake of cutting on it, and it does not self-heal. So don't use this as a cutting mat, but it is a silicone mat that I got from the dollar store, and it is amazing to do your glue ups on. Amazing, amazing. So I didn't forget about you, buddy. Yep. Dollar store. I'm in. It's awesome. I wish they made it larger. I would love to have one that's, the size of the mat here, but it is what it is. I'll take it either way. I could possibly maybe do 2 of them side by side, but yeah, for glue ups, it's amazing. It really is. I think Ray was answering Dan here and saying no. Was that to the question of cameras? Everything except helmet cam. Yeah, no helmet cams. I have used Droid Cam app to use my phone via the computer. Yep. Oh, that's interesting. The shield shows up on your phone and everything else shows up on the TV. I use 3 cameras through StreamYard. Awesome. Which dollar store? I got it at Dollar Tree. That's good point. Good point. Dollar Tree is where I got it. They are all around my neighborhood. Silicone mat, not good for other than water-based glues. Thank you for that info, Bob. That's awesome. You're right. You're absolutely right. Water-based glue. Silicone and water. Yep. Dwight, how do you get 3 cameras? Dwight, how do you get 3 cameras? I need to look for that since I'm an N scale. Yep. Gotcha. Okay. So test piece. This came out of that. Look, I stained my my mat there because this fell out of the cap. Now my fingers are going to be all kinds of colors now. All right. So I want to try this full strength first. Yeah, see, it's a really black color, which isn't bad if that's what you're going for. And then I kind of think that I'm going to go with that, but I just want to try to dilute it. So I could have just poured it out of the bottle. I don't know why I had to do that. All right. Not too much. Give a little stir. All right. And we'll just try it over here. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all, actually. It is a lot wetter. But compared to, let's go that way. It's close. It's almost like it, but honestly, in person, no, it's very similar. It's very similar. It is a bit darker. It looks like this is more of like a chocolate brown, and this is more like a rosy brown. But it is certainly not black, and you can definitely tell it's wetter because it's been watered down. But not bad though. I like that too as an alternative. What do you guys think? Should we go with the bottom black or the bottom with the dark brown? Everyone's still getting info on cameras. That's awesome. I haven't tried that since. Possum Bayou. Dollar store is about 50 minutes away. Yep. I get interference when I send myself the link in StreamYard and Restream. It always takes up a guest spot. Interesting. Looking for a solution. If you use Your monitor is a video source. You could stream multiple cameras to a PC without worrying about streaming software limits. Interesting. If you use your monitor as a video source. Oh, yes. I think I know what you mean. Thomas says the dark brown. Wax paper for gluing also. Yeah, not a bad idea, Dave. Not a bad idea at all. Chris says dark brown also. The darker looks more weathered. That's what I was thinking. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's quickly just do the dark brown. And then if worse comes to worse, we can always go over it with a darker color. Happy Valley Hobbies, Brian says dark brown also. All right, let's do the dark brown. We'll put that aside. That's our test piece. I want to make sure I got the right side here. Okay. And again, I only want to go like maybe 3 or 4 because I think when we did the other building, I think I did a little too much. I think the color went a little too high. I'm using this piece to judge for the other pieces of where the stain should start. This way, I don't go around the entire building and realize on some piece I was 1 or 2 boards above. So I'm just trying to line these up. So the next steps, since we're coming up to the top of the hour here, the next steps after this is to get the trim put on, which again I said I was going to paint black trim. One side of the building usually looks darker than the other side, depending on how the sun hits it. That's a very good point. It's a very good point. UV and all that jazz. You guys are watching me sit here and every time I pick up a piece, you see me rubbing it. And what I'm trying to do is, obviously on a piece like this, I know which way is the top and which way is the bottom. Well, when you have a piece like this, it's hard to tell where the top of the window is rather than the bottom of the window. So I'm just rubbing my hands on the clapboard to find the direction of the clapboard. If it goes down smoothly and just clicks, then you know this is the top and that is the bottom, and you're moving down with the boards. If you go the opposite direction and you feel that you're getting resistance and it's stopping, then you're upside down. To fix all that, you could just put your glasses on, but I didn't feel like doing that. I'm getting old, and I'm finding that I'm needing those magnifiers already. All right, so I'm gonna, oh, wait, one more. Hang tight. Biggest piece of all. Right across there. As I'm sitting here, it looks like what I did darker over here is actually starting to blend up. So I'm losing my line. But I think I'm okay for the most part. And I think some of these, the way that the stain is kind of settling, I think some of them are coming out darker than others, but there's that chocolate brown that we all kind of agreed on. Again, if this doesn't look right after it dries, I may go over it with the dark stain. I'm not sure. But I did want to try one thing. I did this a while ago, and I wanted to see if I could get the same effect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the brush in the darker paint and the darker stain, and I'm just going to touch it here on the side and let it bleed in. See how it kind of fills in the cracks and crevices and makes it look older and worn and faded. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going on the side of the model. I'm going to do the outside too. And again, just simply touching the side where it fades in, or where it's cut, where you would have sanded the sprues off. See how it just kind of bleeds in there and gives it that faded look, that worn look. I love that. I love that. Just going to do the same thing over here. So I'm not actually touching the front side of the model. I'm just letting that stain seep in through the side, and it gives you that kind of look. So I'll do that with all the rest of these. Before I go, I want to give you guys one quick safety tip. Not sure I mentioned this before in another show, but I realized it this afternoon. As I was cutting the pieces of wood off the sprue, it was getting really, really hard for me to cut. And I thought maybe it could have been because of a dull blade. So I went and switched out my blade. But here is something that I wanted to share with you. Here's what I do. There are a lot of ways around this. Be careful with your blades, especially for your safety and the safety of others. You don't want to go and just throw these things in a trash can. You could hurt yourself later if you go looking for that one receipt that you accidentally threw out, or God forbid, the trash man gets a hold of your bag or it pokes through or something along those lines. I'm going to drop down here to the bench one more time. I'm going to show you what I do. Here's my old, dirty, rusty, worn out number 11 blade. I simply just take masking tape, pick the blade up with the masking tape, stuck in there, flip it over, seal it shut, and then you got a cool little pocket just like that where nobody can get cut. So there is your tipster from the Rickster. Keep yourself safe. Keep everybody safe. Jump back over here to the main cam real quick, and we'll say our goodbyes. Guys, thank you so much for joining me this Sunday, and thank you again for to the STS crew for letting me join in. It has been a pleasure. I'm going to do some work on the kit and get it ready for next week. Again, I'll be back in 2 weeks on Friday, and we'll not finish it up, but we'll continue on with the kit. I'm trying to do every other Friday to get you guys a live stream so we can work on it. Remember, again, next week is Brian from the Iron Horse Model Railroad. Do definitely join in to his channel. Check the link description below. to get his channel if you're not already subscribed. Thank you again to all my new subscribers. We're almost at 1,000. We're getting there slowly but surely, but the number is creeping up, and I so much appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Going to roll the outro here. Over there, I'm going to throw up a video of mine that I made recently. Right below that is going to be a link to one of my playlists. And right below is going to be that like button and subscribe. Go ahead and hit those buttons, guys. Thank you. Good night.